This is Memoirs of a Renaissance Man. My name is David Ahearn. Memoir number 75, The Grand Opera House. From the outside, the facade appears quietly dignified, a cream-colored limestone archway gracefully stretching more than 20 feet into the air. Intricate chiseled flowers adorn the stone, whispering stories of a bygone era, while the words Opera House stands proudly and an encircled 1894 crowns the arch. This discreet building doesn't overtly demand attention, yet for the keen listener seeped in silence, it beckons with an unspoken invitation, a promise of seduction and grandeur within. In a way that only such architectural elegance can, the facade stirs memories of another time and place for me. I was immediately taken back to my first visit to Paris, France, just after my divorce as I faced an unclear future. I remember quite clearly approaching the Palais Garnier, the storied opera house of the City of Light. I felt a sense of wonder amid the lively street performers vying for my attention. I jockeyed quickly by them, wondering what awaited inside the opera house. Unlike Galveston, this Parisian monument extended grand gestures, drawing me in with a promise of discovery. Its beauty seemed unearthly, as if conjured by unknown hands moving through time. Inside, the grand staircase echoed with whispers of bygone stars and souls who wandered its halls, and still do to this day. Palais Garnier holds many tales, yet the true origins of this marvel remain an enigma, a narrative woven into the very fabric of the city that felt so familiar from my very first taste. Galveston, too, has stories to tell, albeit seemingly less grand. These tales forever tell of a different time on the Gulf, a time when the impossible was possible, when men created architecture that cannot be duplicated in modern times. From Paris to Galveston, it makes one wonder how the artisans of that time were so much more advanced with far less technology than we are today. The Opera House in Galveston stands as a tribute to that artistry and the men who seem to weave it so effortlessly from their mere dreams. Upon entering the performance hall of the Opera House, the world outside fades away. The tales of the streets step aside for the elegance that seizes the heart, transporting all present back to a time and a realm where beauty held sway and the universe felt within reach. Here, the past slips away with hardly a notice. There was a time when Galveston was known as the Queen of the Gulf, a period few remember, the details faded from memory. The eyes are instantly drawn and irresistibly drawn to the stage, where a mural concedes that there are stories behind it, and it conceals those stories, the production secrets beneath its artful facade. The rich velvet curtain draped across it whispers promises of romance and seduction. A slight turn to the left reveals private boxes, perched high and discreet, exuding privilege and opulence. A glance to the right mirrors this spectacle. 6 pairs of boxes staring at each other, staring them down, locked in a silent duel of wealth and influence. Who will emerge victorious in this grand contest of materialism? The Opera House stands as a testament to the enduring divide of wealth through the ages. Those triumphant in fortune sit ensconced in their private sanctuaries, pampered and removed from the common fray. Each row extending backward from the stage delineates this grand divide, an accordion of dwindling wealth and influence stretching towards the back. At the back, those lucky enough to be granted access to these hallowed halls can only dream of one day sitting in the private boxes above, Caesar-like, casting judgment on the proletariat below. Here, the architecture itself tells a story of societal tiers, each layer meticulously crafted to reflect power's subtle gradations. From the opulent boxes to the distant seats, the stratification is palpable, whispering tales of privilege and aspiration through the grand halls to all who choose to participate in this timeless dance of wealth and dreams, where every gaze is a mixture of admiration and longing. In my own journey, the metaphor of the theater in relation to wealth is not lost on me. I've occupied seats throughout the metaphorical universe and through the theater of life and its many tiers of wealth. I began on the outside, gazing in with aspiration shaped by struggle and perseverance. As life's pace quickened, I found myself moving from the back rows to the more privileged seats, each shift offering a new perspective and challenge. With time, I reached the coveted boxes above, only to find that wealth could change one's essence, often clouding true values. Eventually, the natural course of life led me back to the rear, a return closer to where I began. This reflects the ebb and the flow of fortune, a reminder that few remain insulated, and life's lessons often bring us back to the essence of who we truly are. From the steel blue velvet seats of this grand theater, the world feels different from the private boxes above, each spot telling a story of its occupant's place in the tapestry of life. These seats, simple yet noble, embody the essence of the common people who fill them during a performance. The blue tones represent continuity and resilience, much like life and the journey of the everyday individual. I, too, am that common man, rooted in the humble beginnings of Iowa, shaped by parents whose lives were marked by simplicity and quiet virtue. Their unassuming goodness has guided me to this day. As I stood alone in the quiet embrace of the empty opera seats, the absence of others allows the grandeur to speak directly to me, unencumbered by distraction. The silence magnifies the magnificence of the space, distinct from the bustle of daily life. In this solitude, the theater reveals its true nature as an equalizer, where the rows of the blue seats become a symbol of our shared humanity and enduring spirit, echoing the journeys of countless individuals who have sat here before me, each seeking their own moment of transcendence. The theater has long been a central part of my life. At 19, I stepped on stage to perform stand-up comedy. Raw and uncensored, I was akin to those in the far reaches of the opera house. Yet, as I honed my craft and discovered my voice, I journeyed from the metaphorical back row to the forefront, surpassing even the luxury boxes to stand on stage, the very act people came to see. Though I have yet to grace the stage of the 1894 Opera House, I feel its call. Theaters like this have always felt like a second home to me. I wander through their majestic halls, seeking secluded nooks to contemplate my good fortune, aware that I am merely a steward of the stage for a very short while. These spaces possess a heartbeat and a soul, and if one listens closely, whispers to the past echo from the walls, the curtains, and the seats when the auditorium lies empty. These are the moments I cherish most, when solitude reigns and every show brims with potential greatness. I often sit silently at the theater's center before the show, absorbing its majesty and the stories it silently shares. On this visit to the Grand Opera House, as in Paris years before, I was a guest, one among many glimpsing the splendor within. Standing alone in this great hall, I marveled at what might be. Silently, I stepped onto the stage and I gazed at the sea of blue chairs. A gentle smile played on my lips as I nodded to all those who will one day watch from above, privileged in their seats. My hope is that they too recognize the blessings that brought them there, as I do while standing on this stage. It's in these moments that I'm reminded the theater, like life, is a tableau woven from countless lives and stories. As long as the curtain rises, there's always a new narrative to embrace, a testament to the enduring spirit and the magical, ephemeral dance that binds us all. For more, go to daviddanielbooks.com.